Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll call the Forestry and Recreation Committee order. We need approval of the agenda. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Gary. We have a second. Rich, second. Okay, we'll do Bill second motion. Everybody in favor, so you might say an aye. Did you do both same signs? Rick, what did you do roll call? Yeah, I didn't. No. Oh, I didn't. Oh, okay, we'll go back. We're base here. Okay, we'll now go back now. We'll do roll call. So Rich Huber's here, Gary Eater. Yep. And then Jerry Anderson. Yep. William Messenger and Marty Beaton. Yep. We're all here. Okay. So next be Chamber of Commerce with Mary. Is she online?
She's online, yep.
Okay. So Mary, you're on.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
And we've got a little snowing up here. I don't know, but is it snowing down there?
Yeah.
Yay! We want it. So anyway, it was interesting. I was just down there yesterday for a meeting in Glidden with we were awarded a joint effort marketing grant from the Department of Tourism. And basically this grant is to help us with rebranding Ashland County in terms of tourism. And maybe coming up with a new logo for tourism. Right now, we just have this black and white logo that we've been using for, well, I'm starting my 26th year, so it's been around for a long time. And so basically though, with this GEM grant, what we're looking at is data research and trying to find out, making sure that we are targeting the right customers, we are targeting the right geographical areas, that we want to know why people are coming to Ashland County. We want to know, do they really know where Ashland County is and what do they think of when they hear Ashland County? Do they think of Copper Falls, Morgan Falls, or do they not know where we're at? I'm sure many people don't realize Madeline Island is part of Ashland County. And then you've got this kind of situation where you're trying to market Butternut, Glidden down in the south, but you're also trying to market Madeline Island in the north. And so you've got like two different areas, which that happens a lot in counties. That's, Hayward is like that, and Cable's in Bayfield County, Hayward's in Sawyer County. So it happens all over, but we're trying to just get a real handle on making sure that the dollars that we're spending are actually being used in the right areas, because we don't have a lot of resources. And so we want to make sure when we're doing a promotion that the return is there. So anyway, so we were down in Glidden. Louis Carl was there. Jeff Crum, John Westfall. We were talking about outdoor recreation and events, because those are the two things that seem to be driving to the Travel Ashland County website, and then kind of figuring out from there some of the analytics that we see on the website. So with that being said, we're working on our visitor guide. We come out with a visitor guide and activity guide for Ashland County, which covers all of the communities from Madeline Island down to Butternut. And then we'll be finishing that and getting it printed so it's ready to go in January. Lots of Christmas things going on throughout the whole county. Everybody's anticipating snow. We do have Ashland County snowmobile maps. So as soon as it comes, we're ready. And we'd like to have ice as well. So we'd like to see some ice fishing. Other than that, life is good. Any questions?
Anybody got any questions? No, I guess not.
All right. Well, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you. I'll hang out for a little bit because I want to hear some of the DNR reports, especially deer hunting.
Okay, so let's see, public comment. would be next. Anybody for public comment? Anybody online?
No public comment.
Okay, any public comments? Any public comment? Okay. Having none, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. Need a motion to approve the minutes. If there any corrections or. Oh, okay, so, okay, Jerry made a motion. And we need a second. I'll second. Okay, second by Joe. Yeah, motion. Then we need DNR reports with start with the active fisheries. Not here, no report. Okay. Jenna? Not here either. Okay. So. Next would be Avery, you're here, so.
I'm here. Yeah, hopefully, yeah, we could get an update from Jenna next time, to get a little bit of like a, hunting season recap. I'm sure she'd be happy to provide that. Yeah, as far as forestry goes, I've got some news and I've got some bad news, but I'll share the news first. So where we stand with our county forest time standard. Every year we've got about 850 hours that DNR provides to the county. The latest numbers are in, so up through November, we're at about 45% completion. So we've put in almost 400 hours so far, and we're pretty comfortable with where we're at. Our fiscal year runs through June, so we've got a ways to go, but we're feeling good about where we are. I saw the bid results, definitely pleased with that. As far as what we've established on the county forest and what has sold. Nothing worse as a forester to have, timber sales not sell after you put in all that field work. I was also pleased to see a variety of bidders. Ideally you're getting at least like 3 bids on each sale. And we do have one bidder here who we haven't seen a lot bidding on Ashland County timber. And we sold timber at the Flambeau River State Forest this fall as well, like we do every fall. Down there, they had 6 out of 18 timber sales go without a bid. And out of the 12 sales that did sell, 5 only had 1 bidder. So better than not getting it under contract, but it's maybe not the most competitive situation then. I saw a bulletin this morning reporting on spongy moth. Now that the season is over, the forest health section has reported out on that. They're saying in northwest Wisconsin, the population of the spongy moth has essentially collapsed. They did still map some defoliation in Bayfield County, kind of in that area between like Washburn and Cornucopia, where it's kind of that sandy soil region. But I mean, that's good news for us. We don't so much have the like sandy oak type forest here, but like the northern part of Ashland County was pretty heavily defoliated a couple years ago. And with that collapse, we shouldn't really be seeing that. Some of the areas in the state they mentioned, like the Wisconsin Dells area, Marinette County, Lawrence County, they're still having like kind of an outbreak there. But the article mentioned, one more season and that population should be toast as well. So last part of my update is to let you guys know that this will be my last committee meeting that I'm here with you. I'll be at the end of the year taking a position with DNR out of Brule on the Brule River State Forest. So been working out of Mellon for about 4 years and been the liaison to this county forest for that whole time, and really enjoyed working down here and with these guys and on this property. As far as where we go from here, the department will be filling my position one way or another, but hard to say, when exactly that'll be. In the meantime, DNR will absolutely still be working on this property, contributing to that time standard that I mentioned, and really just doing any work that Chris, Tom, and Sawyer need to like keep the program moving along.
Sorry to hear that.
Anything to add, Ryan?
Just a couple things to piggyback off what you were saying, as the DNR as a whole, sure are gonna miss Avery down here, basically the only guy working on a melon for about 1.5 years there, and he did a darn good job, so just want to recognize his efforts and hopefully you guys appreciate the work he's been putting in with you guys. He's a darn good forester and we're gonna miss him. Looking forward, we are kind of developing a plan to make sure we get our hours commitment into you guys here this year. We got a good start on the hours here already. Avery got a good jump on it, and then we still got Garrett up there. We got Austin, we've got Andy Oberto and myself. And so I'm confident we're still gonna be able to meet the time standard commitments to you guys. But the relationship's gonna look a little different until we get a full-time liaison in here. So I'll be working with Avery, kind of planning ahead a couple projects. And then we'll just work together with you guys and the staff here, and probably gonna have a little more direct communication with me until we fill that county forest liaison spot. But hopefully, looking ahead, we're gonna start recruiting foresters in I believe February with an anticipated start date in June. And you never know what spots we're gonna fill, what spots we're not gonna fill. But there are, I think right now, currently only 8 forester positions open across the DNR. And we've got a couple of them up here in the far north, so if we are hiring people, we got a pretty good shot at plugging some holes up here, so I'm optimistic about it. But like I said though, Avery was a very good forester up here for us, and you're not gonna replace him immediately, so it's good to know he's still just a phone call away, and just want to recognize you for your hard work down here, Avery. Thank you.
Maybe he'll change his mind.
Yeah. What, they got better woods over there in where you're going?
They just got a little different operation. Over
Oh,
there. Getting my feet a little more into the firefighting and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah, different perks and advantages and things like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anybody else? No? Well, I guess we'll move on to the snowmobile ATV report.
Nothing to report. I haven't heard from anybody. I'm assuming they're busy.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anything specific,
Okay.
so,
pretty hard to do anything anyway.
right?
You're supposed to do snow.
Yeah, it's that time of year.
Yeah, so, okay. And we doing a recreational officer,
We, as far as I know, we still do not have a rec officer. I know they were gonna open it up for internal application last month, so I'm assuming they're towards the end of that process.
Oh, okay.
And if nobody internally signs, then Joe said they were gonna post it for external hire, so.
Cause it's been a while now, right? What, 2
Couple months now, 2.5 months, something like that.
I didn't even think it'd be filled right now, but.
Yeah, it's tough filling positions, so.
Yeah, I imagine, yeah. Especially that one is kind of like a specialty one anyway with ATVs and snowmobiles and everything else. So anything else like, any discussion items, action items? Nothing. So, if there's nothing there, we'll go on to administrative updates.
Okay, so the first item I have, I gave everybody a copy of our bid results. We opened bids yesterday afternoon. We had 5 sales that were out for bid. We had bids on all 5 sales. You can see the highlighted in yellow is the successful bidder. So Ashland Matt came in pretty hungry. And then Schler's picked up 1 sale. They were the only bidder on it, kind of the worst sale that we put up this year, so. We've got a breakdown there of all the different species and types and what the minimums were and what the bid amounts were. You can see the bid totals. We went through the bids yesterday, all the numbers line up, all the checks line up, that kind of stuff. So if you guys could approve us awarding those contracts, we can get started on that.
Any questions, Marty?
Are the volumes in cubic feet or?
They're in courts.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who sets the minimum bid?
We do,
We do. So who actually went out and looked at it?
we do.
Okay, who do we do?
forestry staff.
Okay,
All of us.
Avery and
Tom and Sawyer and all of us.
all, you all do, okay. As far as the deposit that they have to come up with, that they have to come, the winning bidder has to come up with the deposit.
Correct.
How much is the deposit? What percent?
So we have a bid bond that they have to put, or a performance bond they have to put down, which is 15%. And then they have to put down a 10% down payment to start the sale.
Nope,
But-
switch it,
What's that?
10% and then 15.
Okay, 10% performance bond, 15% down payment. But they don't make the down payment until they actually start the sale.
But the bond is when
They put a performance bond down when they sign the
Right.
contract.
yeah,
And as long as we're talking about that, if you let me interject here. I had some conversation during the last bidding process and this bidding process. There's been some question asked about, we require them to put a 10% bid bond in with their bid. Some of the bidders are asking if we could do away with the bid bond. Some of the bidders are dealing with, they work for companies that are not local, and it's a nightmare for them to get their bid bond checks in time to submit their bids. So they're asking if we could do away with the bid bond process. Well, it's not something we could do at this meeting. It needs to be on the agenda, so we can take formal action on it, but they wanted me to bring it to the committee and kind of put it out there and see what you guys thought about it.
and the person that won the board is the one who's on.
Correct.
Based out of Georgia. Okay.
And Sappy has to go to Delaware to get their bid bond checked. So it becomes a problem sometimes for them timing wise. For them to get their bid put together, to know what the bid bond check needs to be, and they get corporate to cut the check and get it to them. So they can submit their bids on time.
We talked about, last time I was on this, we talked about that.
Correct,
Yeah.
yep.
So
It's
it
been
comes up,
brought up in the past
Yeah.
and kind of let lay. But it's been brought up again, so
yeah,
I,
we never did nothing last night. Put it on the agenda for. Yeah.
and a lot of other counties have done away with the bid bond.
Okay,
I think we just need to develop a policy that would impose a punishment on somebody who would bid on a sale and be successful and then not sign a contract.
yeah,
Maybe prohibit them from bidding for a year or for 2 years or something, so that there was a backside. Because that's what the bid bond is supposed to be for, to ensure that they sign the contract.
okay,
Yeah, if it streamlined the procedure, yeah, sure.
yeah,
So I'll bring it on the next agenda,
okay.
with some kind of.
Cause there's not many little mom and pop places bidding on. So.
Correct. And the other thing it does too is it ties up capital for them, even if it's only for a week or two, that their check is out on a bid somewhere before we process it, and either get the check back to them because they were unsuccessful, or convert that check into a performance bond.
Go ahead.
Okay, the bid bond, does the county cash it right away?
No, we just hang on to the check
We just hang on.
and we send them the check back. If they're unsuccessful, we just send them the check back with a letter that says you were unsuccessful, here's your check back. If they're the successful bidder, then we convert that into the performance bond. At that point, it gets cash when they sign the contract,
How long do they have before they have to sign the contract
10 days.
from when we open the
From
bid?
when we send them to them, it takes Shane a couple days to prepare the contract.
Okay.
Preparing 5 contract will take her a day, and then I gotta sign them and put them in the mail.
Okay. Okay, any other questions for the? For that? So we have to approve the bid?
Bill, Richard,
No, Bill, okay, when?
I always raise my hand because I hate to interrupt. I would make a motion that we accept the bids as presented
Okay,
and award them to the highest bidder.
a motion by. Bill,
I'll second it.
and seconded by Marty, all those, well, we should have a. Roll call vote, so. So I'll say yes. Gary? Yes. Jerry?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Marty?
Yep.
Okay, everybody says yes, so. It's approved, motion carried. You don't want to leave on the table.
So the next item on the agenda for action are timber sale extensions. If you guys recall, at the previous meeting, we discussed having the committee make decisions on timber sale extensions. So what I did was put together a list. You guys should have all got a copy of this with your meeting materials. The sales that needs to be extended, the contract holder, a brief description on each sale and then the recommendation of the forestry department. Long story short is that we're recommending everybody get a 1-year extension with no increase to stumpage. Basically because last winter didn't exist, the signs went on at the end of January. And now if you guys have any specific questions about these sales, I'm more than willing to answer any questions about any of them, but that's the overall picture of what I'm recommending the committee to take action on.
Go ahead, Bill.
All these sales here, the original time frame, how long was it?
It was, the original time frame on all of these sales was 2 years.
2 years. And like the bids that we passed today,
We'll have a 4-year contract.
have 4 years,
Right.
because we went from 2.
Just to try to eliminate a lot of this process.
Okay, so have any of these people been extended before?
Yes,
Okay, so they had 2 years, and how long has their extensions been?
so the only one on here that has had more than one extension is the very first timber sale 1041. That's owned by Mastercare. And I tried to explain it that Mastercare itself went out of business and filed bankruptcy. The owner of that company still wanted to make good on the contract. So he went and found somebody to cut the sale for him to try to complete it for us. And so I've been a little more understanding with trying to get that sale completed based on the fact that he had gone out of business and but was still trying to meet his contractual obligations. All the rest of them would be on the first extension.
What is the time frame as far as the contract? When does it start? When would that 1 year end?
So these will go from December to December. We'll revisit this again in June. So we sell our timber sales in June and December. So we have rotating contract expirations in June and December. The goal being in June to get everybody on an annual rotation. So we only have to do this once a year instead of twice a year.
So when we put the timber bids out in June, how many sales did we have there?
I don't remember, 5 or 6.
I guess so.
6. And those would all be 4-year contracts as well.
Marty, you want?
So what you're saying is all these extensions are weather related.
Correct,
Right.
because nobody could work last winter. We just never got the winter that we needed to do.
So I'd make a motion that we extend those contracts as requested.
Okay. So Marty makes a motion to extend the contracts.
I'll second
Okay, seconded by Gary, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
it. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carried.
Then I've got a couple other updates that are not action items or anything around the agenda, but I just want to let you guys know. Just yesterday, today's Monday, I got an email from Anew, which is the company that the county's been working with to try to sell carbon credits. Our project has been finally approved by the third-party verifier that takes all of the data and stuff that us and Anew has accumulated, and they have verified that that data is accurate and that we do have carbon to sell. So Anew will be sending our project to ACR, they said within the next couple of weeks. So I'm assuming after the first of the year. Then ACR has to review the project as it's submitted and either approve it or deny it or ask for modifications to it, because ACR is the organization that then actually sells the credits. So I don't know how long that process takes. I'm assuming it's probably going to be a 3 or 4 month process for ACR to review our specific carbon project and make a determination. So based on that information, I'm assuming sometime this fall, Ashland County will probably be ready to start selling carbon credits at that point. We have a meeting next week with Anew to talk about marketing stuff that they're going to use to package our credits and try to sell them. Well, they'll be asking us questions about what we do and how we do it and the recreation that occurs and the recreation that we provide and that kind of stuff. We'll be having that meeting next week.
Okay. That's another thing, when I was here before, we started out with that. And that seemed to be so simple and just, but boy, it sure got complicated.
It's been very slow, and we're not the only county that's been slow Bayfield County has sold some credits so far, but they're like the only county that's actually sold credits so far.
Oh.
Everybody else is in this giant process of verifying it. There's so many people that have their fingers in the pie to try to make a little bit of money off the process that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, go ahead.
By selling the carbon credits, what does that actually do? You know, you're saying you're selling carbon credits, but what is actually the result of somebody buying them? What's happening? Is it, you
You
know?
gotta give me a second to think about the best way to answer this.
Yeah, that's kind of complicated too.
I don't know, I'm just saying you're selling carbon credits, but what are they getting out of it?
They are getting the ability to market the fact that they have paid for sequestered carbon to offset the carbon they use in the production of their product. So if they calculate that they use 10 tons of carbon to produce their widgets for a year, and they go to the carbon market and they buy 10 tons of carbon that's been sequestered on the landscape, they can then market to their consumers that they are carbon neutral, that their process has a 0% impact carbon wise on the environment.
Because they have these locked in.
Because they have purchased carbon credits.
So they're actually not doing nothing with our property, not even touching it.
Just buying the carbon and making them work for us, that we have to do to maintain the data that proves that that carbon exists.
Go ahead, Mike.
This might be kind of an unfair question, Chris, but has the dollar amount changed much from what we were initially talking?
So the last time I spoke with and knew about dollar amounts, which would be probably 9 or 10 months ago, that the credit number had settled some. And I think that's the reason why this process slowed down so much, as they had a bunch of Central and South American companies jump into the carbon market. They flooded the market and they drove the value down. And then the verifiers found out that what data they were bringing forward was not accurate. So it further drove the carbon value down. And so I think it moved slowed down on all the North American projects to allow that dollar amount to recover. And when I had that conversation with Anu at that time, they felt like it had turned the corner and was coming back up. But I don't know what that number is today. I don't know what the ACR market rate is right now. I have been told that our carbon will be more valuable because of how we manage our timber. It's the gold standard in the ACR carbon market for timber managed carbon. So hopefully that will help as well. And we're probably 6 to 8 months off from selling carbon too. So there could be market fluctuations between then and now too. So it's hard to say, but I know it crashed, and I think that's why I knew they didn't want to come right out and tell everybody that, but I think that's why they slowed the process way down. And so now they're behind in trying to get these projects rolling.
Go ahead.
How long are we selling them for? How many years?
We're committed to 40 years of holding the carbon.
40 years?
Correct.
And so we get money every year?
Correct.
When it first started out, that was big bucks back then, because it was so much, like, even at the later years, it was what, like 600,000 or something? Or
Yeah, their initial blush at $10 a ton projected fairly good revenue for the county once the costs were paid for up front, which is the initial carbon sales goes to offset the cost. That was part of the agreement the county signed with Anu, was that the cost would be borne by the carbon credit sales initially. And then after that, we have a split with Anu. They get a certain percentage for doing the legwork and selling the carbon, and we get the rest of it for having the carbon.
Okay, so that has to be approved by this committee.
That was already approved.
Okay.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, it was approved.
There are more documents coming. So far, we have committed to the development of the project. When ACR is done with their review of our verified project and say, yes, we'll sell the carbon, then we have to sign documents with Anu that actually marry us to this project for 40 years.
This will come before the county board.
I would imagine it'll end up before
It'll come here
it's
first.
fall. It'll come here first. I don't know what those documents look like yet, I have never seen them, so, but they would come here. And this committee would then take it to the committee board. The commitment to the carbon sale. It is what it is, we're doing the work, we own the property, we can't sell the property, we can't divest of it, we're always gonna be managing timber. The commitment is, this department takes on a little more work every year to maintain an inventory of that carbon. So that at any time, if a third party auditor comes in and says to ACR, we wanna make sure the carbon you're selling actually exists. We can provide the data that shows them that it exists.
Okay. Any other questions?
I've got one more issue for update for the committee.
Wait,
Sawyer Peterson, our forester, who's been here for 2.5 years, is leaving us at the end of next week. So we're not only are we losing Avery, but we're losing
So
Sawyer.
another one. So we got a skeleton crew.
It'll be Tommy and I and Shayna for a while. The ads went out looking for a replacement, so we're in the process of trying to find a replacement. It'll just be the three of us for a while.
What salary are they starting with?
You know, I don't know. I went and pulled up the wage and comp study information. I want to say it's around $52,000 a year is the first step, is the starting point on that scale. Once we get further into the process and get some candidates, I'll be getting with Dan to make sure they've got the right number going forward.
Do they have to have any schooling or?
So we require either a 4-year degree from a accredited school with a degree in forestry, or a 2-year degree in comparable work experience to get into that 4-year level. So if somebody came with a 2-year tech degree and a couple of years of work experience, that would be qualified.
So you expect to fill that relatively soon then? If
As soon as I can, it'll be after the first of the year, I'm sure.
yeah,
By the time we get some applicants in and get interviews conducted and that kind of thing, it'll be after the first of the year.
yeah, hopefully you get some applicants.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, that's another thing, Bill.
That's all I've got unless anybody has any other questions.
Any questions? Bill? Okay. So other business, anybody got any?
I got the question.
Oh, yeah, okay, go ahead.
So tell us what you're doing now. As far as. Physically what you're doing. As far as.
Physically, I'm sitting in a committee meeting right now.
No, but what I'm saying, right?
Right now, we're wrapping up coming out of the big recreation season with deer hunting. So we're closing some gates, we're opening some gates, we're taking down some cameras. We've got a couple timber sales that'll be starting up here in the next couple of weeks, so we're getting work done for that. Trying to do some free work to make sure the snow gets packed down so we can get those roads frozen because they're winter sales. Tom's still working on running red line and blue line around potential timber sales that we'll be marking in the spring. And then once the sales start up, we'll be doing sales administration. We'll be doing recon for next year's cutting schedule, we'll be identifying timber to set up for next year.
Seeing you're one person short.
We're still short,
But
we'll be 2 people short.
Yeah,
Yeah,
two people.
two.
Yeah, need volunteers. You probably come in.
So we volunteered anybody.
not much for a vote. Yeah, the chairman of the committee.
No.
Well, I just kind of, somebody asked me, well, what's the forestry doing now? Well, okay, well, I don't know.
Winter typically is a fairly busy season because we do have a lot of ground that we manage that is winter only harvestable. Because you have to freeze down a swamp crossing or something to get to it. So winter is typically very busy for timber sales. Markets have still not really recovered. Timber markets have still not really recovered. So the jury's out on just how busy we're gonna do this winter. And then it depends on how much snow that we get too. If we don't get a lot of snow, we can get some field work done in preparation for next spring's field season.
You anticipate some of these sales that you let out being completed?
Some of these new sales.
No, some of the older sales.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Are the roads freezing down pretty good now, or?
The roads got hard, but they did not get hard in a good way. They're really, really rough. The opening weekend of deer season, they were soft and got cut up pretty good, and then Monday, Tuesday, they got hard, so they're kind of rutted up. But they are hard. they're very hard, they're just gotta go pretty slow right now. A little bit of snow and some snow flying will take care of that though.
That frost's been going pretty good already. Well, anything else? Anything for any other business?
I've got Jenna online. She joined late.
Oh, okay.
Hi
Go ahead,
guys,
Jim. Hi,
sorry for coming in late, but just a quick update of the 9-day, which is basically the only thing that's changed since I talked to you last. Been busy running around taking aging samples and CWD samples. For Ashland County, harvest has been down. The buck harvest was down 10% from the 5-year average and 7% from last year. That includes a 35% drop for doe harvest or antlerless harvest. And that's because there were no antlerless tags allotted this year, which may have also driven down that buck harvest. Usually what we'll see if we don't have an antlerless harvest, people will leave and hunt elsewhere. And so that's kind of reflective of what Iron County looks like, and other counties that go into an antlerless season. So 533 bucks were harvested, 127 does were harvested, and that was with youth, vets, and what is the other? Oh, disabled hunts. So a total of 660 deer harvested in Ashland so far. Anecdotally, what I've been seeing is I mean, the bucks that have been coming in and that I've been aging are really nice sized body. I think that the mild winter last year have really helped them be able to not only put on antler growth, but body weight too. A lot of the yearlings that I've been aging have been little basket rack 6s even and 8s that I've seen in Ashland County. Even in Iron County, a lot of instead of seeing a bunch of spikes is what we usually see, we're actually seeing little 6-pointers, 5-pointers, 4-pointers. And so that's a good sign going into this winter. They're also bigger bodied, so hopefully even if we do get a harsh winter, we'll see a greater survival rate. And other than that, I've been talking with a lot of people at their deer camps. Same as usual, less and less people are showing up to hunt. They're staying fewer hours in the field, staying fewer days at the camp. We're seeing less deer drives and activity just out in the woods alone, which have been impacting harvest as well. And then lack of snow. It's always easier to see deer and track deer when there's snow. We didn't have that for the opening weekend. And then we finally saw a spike in harvest again come Monday once we got snow on the ground. So that's good.
Jenna, I have a question for you. Have you got any results as far as the bow season and then to date yet? Has it been up, down?
Yeah, so let me see that. So bow season, we have 69 harvested with vertical bow. This is buck data. Doe data is hard to look at because we didn't have an antlerless season this year, so I'm just going to be talking about bucks. So where was I? Just trying to pull up my deer metrics. Okay, so we had 69 bucks harvested with vertical bow. We had 257 bucks harvested with crossbow. During the youth hunt, we had 10 bucks harvested there. And then the gun buck, we had 527 harvested. That's weird. That number is different than the
first one, yeah, the other one was 533.
Oh, this is weapon specific. I'm sorry. So sometimes if a youth harvest, they'll put it under that youth harvest, or if they harvest during the buck season with a bow, it'll go under that. Because we also got one muzzle loader already with the buck, and that was before muzzle loader season started. So. And that just means that a person decided to use a muzzle loader instead of a regular rifle or shotgun during the 9-day. And then how does that compare to previous years? Let me just pull that up. All right, so, yeah, it's tough to say because I don't have up until this date for bow and crossbow. But total last year for bow for the whole season, we had 48 bucks harvested with the vertical bow. So we've already exceeded that. And we had a total of 200 bucks harvested with the crossbow, and we've already exceeded that.
Any other questions? Anybody got a question?
Quite significantly, really.
Do you have anything else?
Rich?
Yep.
Dan asked a question about the bond issue that I brought up earlier, so I just want to address it quickly. He asked if state statute would allow us to get rid of the bid bond, and state statute allows us to set up our own system. So we could do that under statute wise, and he asked what other counties are doing. The vast majority of the other counties have gotten rid of the bid bond part of the process as well, because they're not requiring bonds to bid. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, because he asked that.
Oh, okay,
Clarification point.
yes, okay, thanks. Jenna, you have anything else?
Nope, that is it.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? If not, we have to schedule the next meeting will be February 5th. Or is that? Do we have to have a meeting February 5th? I mean,
We don't have to, I don't anticipate needing one in January, so that's kind of the placeholder date for now.
Okay, and then we'll just, okay.
If something changes, we can have a meeting earlier, and if there's really no reason to meet, we can reschedule that then as well.
Okay, that's okay.
February 5th.
No, next, yeah, February 5th.
Does the Zoom information change at all? Because I'm gonna be gone.
Yes,
It does, every meeting.
I update it on every agenda.
Okay, the number changes, right?
Okay. I just thought
The code.
The link, the code, the phone number stays the same, but everything else
the code
changes.
change, yeah.
Yeah,
Same time.
9:30.
9:30, yes, yeah, 9:30.
I have to get this in my telephone, that way I don't have to remember.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see, if there's nothing else, I guess we need to, somebody has to, make a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Okay, Marty makes motion to adjourn.
I'll back in.
Okay, seconded by, Gary, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign, hearing none, motion carried, okay, we're adjourned. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure, that's good.
Yeah.